Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Hello and welcome to a Wednesday night edition of Sportsminute. I am joined by, some of the same group. Kitty Corner for me, the producer behind all our shows on Coast to Coast, and my backstop on Tuesday night on deck, Christy Bacon. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. Not too bad. Rangers lost, but what's new?
Yeah, we'll get into a little baseball talk. Below myself there, James Gonzalez. How you doing?
I'm good. I had an eventful day at work, a long day, but I'm happy to be here. And again, this feels like somewhere I can just let go and be free, and with my sports takes, and I love that. Thank you for letting me be here.
No problem. You're part of the Coast to Coast family now, so you're here. And sporting a new Chicago Bears hat because it was his birthday the other night. So Dave Messer, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, actually. I paid for this with my own money. I just sent my daughter with my card because they were in Eugene. And we don't have any cool ball cap places here in our shit town. So I had my mom call me on Facebook, and she showed me the hats. I'm like, give me that one.
So. All right. And I saw Chrissy Wilson's joining us. How you doing tonight, Chrissy? So let's get into it. Dave, you made some comments about your Sox backstage. Why don't you go give us a recap?
Yeah, so the White Sox have won quite a few of the games since letting LaRussa go. Well, they didn't let him go. He's on medical leave. Hopefully, it's not nothing to really laugh at. I'm sorry. But hopefully he gets better. They've been playing really well. They've won like 6 out of the last 7, something like that. And they're only like 2 games out of first place. They were 6 before all this LaRussa left first. Health stuff. So I wrote them off a week ago. I was done. I was like, they're not making the playoffs. I'm done with them. Then I just happened to look, and they're like 2 games back. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yep, tied with the Twins, 2 back. Dave, you kind of alluded to it. If Lou Russa goes, who would you like to see them bring in?
Well, I said backstage I'd like Girardi, but Przinsky, the old White Sox catcher, would be good, even though he's got no managerial experience whatsoever. But neither did Ventura when we brought him in. So he's an old White Sox catcher. I think that'd be good. I don't know, just somebody. What they need to do is get someone that speaks Spanish, because we got a lot of Spanish players on our team, and that would be really helpful to help those younger players that that they can speak their language and probably relate to him more.
So you're saying bring back Azigian?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I would love to see him come back.
Yeah, I can't believe they even let him go. I thought he was doing pretty good for them. So, James, how about your Angels?
Well, real quick, I would think Manny Acta may be a name for the White Sox. To Dave's point. Well, the Angels are 6-4 in their last 10. They had a chance to sweep the Tigers today, but did not. The bullpen failed them. They lost 2 out of 3 to Houston. It seems like we can never win a series, or we get swept from Houston. Somehow the Angels are 6-4 in their last 10. Doesn't mean a thing. They're 28 games out of first place. In third place now. Somehow we jumped Chris's Rangers, I believe. Yeah, but only by 1/2 of a game. 16 and a half out of the wild card. Mathematically still in it, but we all know at 60 and 77, they're out of it. On to next year, on to hopefully the team being sold. Now, quickly to the minor league cases. The what was it? Not AAA, not the Bs, but the AA Rocket Panda Trash Pandas and the Single A Inland Empire 66ers are both going to be in the playoffs. So that's something to monitor, something the young guys are playing for. And it might be interesting. Some of those AAA guys who have came up back and forth, they might come up. So it'll be interesting to see who will be there, ready for next year. But there's so many questions going into the off season. I just can't wait to get there, honestly.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I love that name, Trash Pandas. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Trash
They have a
Pandas.
great hat too.
So, Chris, how about your Rangers? James kind of alluded to them getting jumped.
Yeah.
So,
Rangers lost this afternoon or this evening on the road against the Astros. I think they won last night, but they've been having losing streak. They've lost 9 in a row before yesterday. Now they lost another. They're kind of on the outside looking into the playoffs, but it doesn't look too well. Oakland A's, which we kind of figured would be eliminated from the playoffs, already are. So I guess that's one less team to contend with, but it's still not looking good.
yeah, I'm with you with the Twins there. I mean, I know we're still 2 back, tied with the White Sox, but again, it's one of those, okay, yeah, it looks good, you make the playoffs, but, if you're going to get bounced the first round, because the Twins don't seem to be doing that well against the Yankees or, some of these top ball clubs. So, part of me is like, don't even make the playoffs. I mean, rebuild in the offseason. But, if they do, they do. I mean, they battled today in a doubleheader with with the Yankees. Lost the first game in extra innings in 12. And then I think 7-1 was the second game. So, it is what it is. So, so moving on, let's talk a little WNBA because with the who
Seattle.
did the Aces just beat?
I think Seattle, wasn't it?
Yeah. With Seattle getting beat, Suze Bird's career is over with. So, James, I know you kind of follow the WNBA a little bit more than the rest of us. So, what can you tell us about that?
Me?
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see.
No, James.
James.
Unfortunate to see, but it just shows you Las Vegas is on their way. They might be young, but it shows you again Becky Hammond's leadership, her strong leadership, making things happen. You got Plum doing well, AJ Wilson, who probably will be the MVP, doing well. Gray as well, doing well, but they were just stacked, honestly. The Storm, and Sue Bird going out, it was unfortunate. Brianna Stewart did whatever she had to do. She put in 42 points, Lori to 29, and Bird only had 8 in 36 minutes of play. Just wasn't enough. They lost 97-92 there in Seattle, and Vegas goes on to the finals. The other matchup, you have the Storm. I'm sorry, the Sun and the Sky in that series now tied at 2, with the deciding Game 5 coming up tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
The defending champions, baby.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe, that was just a giveaway game and the Sky will come out Game 5 and take it. But I originally picked the Sun. I thought maybe they had more energy. And again, I'm not rooting for anyone per se. You want to see the best player in the series still, and moving on with Candace Parker. With the Sun, they just seem like a complete team. The coach might be the coach of the year. We might have a 6th woman of the year with the Sun as well. Some other awards going there. They had 6 women go in double figures, and that will always win you a game. And then especially scoring over 100 points like they did, 104-80. But again, maybe it was just a throwaway game by the Sky, and tomorrow they'll come out, and it's going to be a battle for sure to see who will face the Western, or not Western, but the other finals team, the Aces. So that's something to look forward to tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be somehow following that and the NFL game coming up tomorrow, both at the same time. So it's gonna be
That's
interesting.
rough.
Yeah. So, Chris,
Yeah.
what's your thought on Sue Bird's career?
I mean, you and I kind of talked about backstage. What a heck of a career. She's been around since what, 2002 or
2002.
something?
She played
Yeah.
19 seasons.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a long time, and the league's been around since early, mid to late 90s, so
97.
97.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost her entire basketball career with the same league and the same team, so she's going to be missed, and not a lot of players anymore, men or women side, stick with the same team now, so.
hmm Dave, you got any input there? I know, me and you kind of don't watch too much WNBA.
The
but
only
we catch
WNBA I
here.
follow is the Chicago Sky, only because they're from Chicago. So I'm hoping for the back-to-back
Yeah.
this year.
But you gotta know who Sue Bird is. I mean,
Sue Bird,
Oh.
yeah, that girl's phenomenal. Even when she played for UConn back in the day, when she was part of that run they had there where they won like 100 in a row or whatever it was. She's just a great player. Definitely first ballot Hall of Famer. She's done it all. What can
definitely.
you not say about her?
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of how she's done it all, I mean, just looking at her stats here that I found online, she's the only player to win an NBA or WNBA title in 3 different decades: 04, 2010, 2018, 2020. Oldest player in NBA history. Oldest player in NBA history to play a whole season, 41 years, 249 days. So she, let's see, top 10 in pretty much every category I could think of stat-wise. Second in 3 points made, 3 points attempts, fourth in steals, sixth in field goals missed, seventh in field goals attempted, eighth in field goals made, seventh in points. I mean, over a 22-year career, I mean, she's got the most games played at 580. And then even off the court, or I should say with the women's basketball, where was that at? Yeah, with the Olympic team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 golds in the World Championships, 4 gold medals and a bronze. So I mean, definitely, if she doesn't become a coach, then I don't know what it would take, but maybe she's one of those that just wants to be
Who
done.
knows if she wants to go that route, though?
What's that?
Who knows if she wants to go that route, though? Maybe she
Well,
doesn't want to be a
exactly. I
coach.
mean, we don't know, but I tell you what,
Yeah.
if she wants to be a coach and there's a vacancy anywhere, I think any team would be. And I'm talking men's basketball, college basketball, WNBA. If she throws her name in the hat, I don't know how you can't interview her at least.
I can see her
Go ahead,
maybe I can see her a couple years maybe being like a mentor to the up and coming, women's basketball.
I'd say
players.
if she does anything, she'd probably go to broadcasting first.
If she wants to go
possibly. I
that
can see her
route.
broadcasting or analyzing.
Yeah.
I definitely can see her do that. But yeah, Dave, you're probably right. I can see her definitely going to broadcasting. So let's move on. Week 1 of the NFL starts tomorrow, as James said. So we got the Bills, Rams. Mess around and Chris and myself already covered much of the game on Morning Tailgate. You can catch us Sunday, 10 a.m. Central. James, give your thoughts on the Thursday night game.
Well, we'll definitely see if Matthew Stafford's elbow will be an issue. We know the Bills have a strong defense, and it only got better with Von Miller coming from the Rams going to the Bills. So that's going to be interesting with that aspect, with Von Miller coming back. Maybe they'll give him his ring before the game. I'm not sure how that works.
He'll get his ring before the game.
The raising of the banner, I believe, but I don't know if they'll do that SoFi. But
they usually do.
Yeah, just the thing with SoFi, how they share with that one team that used to be in San Diego. I don't think they can do anything, but maybe on the scoreboard they can do it.
Well,
And then
whose stadium is it? Is it the Rams?
it's a
stadium?
It's
Rams.
SoFi.
Stadium.
They share it.
Yeah, but if it's the Rams' home stadium,
Right, it's the Rams owner who owns
Yeah.
everything.
so
around
they'll
Yeah.
put a banner up and stuff.
definitely.
It'll be like the Clippers and the Lakers when
Right.
stuff happened there. So, anyways,
And also, I was thinking about it. I was watching some Rams preseason show or highlights games, and there's this one rookie named Kobe Durant, Cobie Durant, and
That's funny.
he's going to be starting at cornerback, and the Rams, being cash strapped as they already are. Not having those draft picks. He came in from, I believe, South Carolina State, and you know how you have Ramsey on one side, and then you have Durant on the other, and it's his first start against maybe Gabriel Davis. I think I mentioned it last week. The matchup between Stephon Diggs and Jalen Ramsey is going to be great to watch.
Yep.
And then both defenses going at each other against their offenses. That's going to be interesting to see. For me, I really have Josh Allen as maybe the MVP this year. So this matchup here, close to Hollywood, man, it brings all the stars out. Honestly, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully tomorrow. I worry about anybody who starts off the season being the world champions. That first game when you got all the ceremonies going on and all the pageantry and whatnot. But I think Sean McVay, being the coach that he is, I don't know if you guys seen it, but one of the preseason games he was doing an interview
Oh yeah.
during the game, and he was so worried about what was going on. And he's like, okay, guys, I got to make sure this touchdown happens or this extra point happens. So even Sean McVay, even in the preseason game, he's so locked in. So I'm guessing I'm going to say the Bills upset the Rams. Maybe it'd be a last-second field goal or whatnot. But I think it's going to be a great game headed into tomorrow.
all right. So yeah, checking in. John Alcorn, guest of Sportsminute quite a bit. Of course, he says, screw the Rams. They beat the Bengals in Super Bowl 34 to 30. So Bills win. J-Mac chimes in. Less than 24 hours till football team controls my mood for the next 4 months. And then
I
Jason
shared that
also,
meme on Facebook. That's funny.
Jay Knox is the most arrogant player tomorrow in my opinion.
Yeah, I
intriguing player.
forgot
Sorry,
about
keep
him.
reading.
Jason mentioned Dawson Knox. He's after having a great year last year, he's one of the top tight ends I think in the league. Not top 5, but he's climbing up there for sure. He's one guy I think
He's signed a new deal too.
forget about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You did
he just-
today, yeah.
So guys, so Chris, Mess Around and myself, we've already why don't we recap what we gave up or our predictions? James said Bill's upset. So Chris,
Yeah.
what do you think come tomorrow?
If I remember, I think I picked Rams. I can't remember.
I think we all
Yeah.
I believe we all picked the Rams, but what do you
I
think
think
James
so.
will be like for the guy who James, if you don't realize, we did a mock fantasy draft for C2C our second year.
Chris had the number one
Chris-
pick in the draft.
Chris had the number 1 pick of the draft, and he took the Bills' defense. So yeah,
Hopefully
yeah,
that-
Wow,
exactly.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so he's the guy
they're
on the
stacked.
Bills' defense. So
They are stacked. You
Yeah.
can't fault them for that. They
Well,
are
I mean,
stacked.
I mean, Von Miller went from the Rams to the Bills. That
yeah,
helps.
no, I
But that's
get it.
more
I-
more of like a 7th round pick or a 6th round,
Yeah.
8th round pick. Guys, I'm not even doing fantasy football. But I'm always here for
No,
advice.
we just thought we'd throw that out there. So, Mess Around, what is your take on tomorrow's game?
My take was, like I said on tailgate, it's the first game of the year. Both teams got to work out the kinks. They got to gel. The Lions got to gel. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, like 2017, maybe. I don't think it's going to be a shootout like everybody expects.
Well, as long as Stafford hits Cup a couple of times for some scores, I don't care what the outcome is because those are my first two picks of the draft. But I think the Rams are going to win. I don't think they're going to have the hangover, being the first game of the year at home, ring night, banner night. I see a close game though. I think we're going to see like 2017, 21-17, somewhere around there. It would not surprise me one bit if it is an upset. J-Mac, 13-10 Bills. Yeah, it could go any way. Bills defense first pick. I hope they don't give up more than 40. Yeah,
know,
so Chris,
right?
you're gonna be living that one down, or you're gonna be laughing in all our faces when the Bills come around and just start shutting people down. But I think it's gonna be a good game. James, you brought up Allen as your MVP. A lot of people are picking Allen as an MVP candidate. So
They did last year too, but came up a little
Yep.
short.
I think us at Morgan Tailgate have them, at least in the conversation. I mean,
Yep.
So
I thought Cooper Cup should have won it last year, but
I thought so too.
Cup should have won it last year, but that guy over in Green Bay, has all the votes,
Mr.
so-
Douchebag himself.
Or at least Super Bowl MVP. I think somebody else got it, but if not,
Yeah, I don't
record
know who
MVP.
got. I can't remember who got Super Bowl MVP.
Donald, or was it Stafford?
It was
I think it
Stafford.
was,
Was it
I thought it
Stafford?
was
Okay.
Yeah, it was
It
quarterback.
was
Yeah,
Stafford.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Yeah.
Darnold.
he threw for 3 touchdowns, I believe.
yeah. Cup
Yeah,
should
it
have
was
got it.
Stafford.
Yeah.
It always goes to quarterbacks.
Alcorn saying Cup got it.
Was it Cup?
You should have,
Well,
but
maybe
I'm
it
not
was-
sure.
Somebody look it up quick.
Yeah, it was Cup. It was Cooper.
Oh, it was Cup.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good,
yeah.
good.
Okay.
Oh, I could swear it was Stafford. My bad. I was
Yeah.
wrong.
But I'll tell you what, he got the most important award and the most important thing you get, a ring and the Super Bowl MVP. I'd rather have that than the actual MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah, it was Cup.
And he got
So
paid.
J Max reminding us of the playoffs, 13 seconds.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
or else reminding us
Yeah.
of something else that last 13 seconds.
During
I
the
don't
chat, during that game, Chris was like, it's over. I'm like, no, it's not. They got timeouts up. No, it's over. It's over. The Bills won. It's over.
I was
Yeah.
so quiet. I was like, there's still time left. The way this
Right.
offense moves,
Yep.
I told
Chris-
my family, I said, it's not over.
Chris
Justin
would
Herbert,
totally
another
jinx the
one I
Bills.
heard in the conversation of MVP talk, like Alcorn said, and then of course he said Cup won. So,
Yeah.
but James, since we're still talking football here, what is something? I know you're a Raiders fan, so you're going to the opener.
Mhm.
Outside of your team, what do you expect? Is there something that you're watching for with other teams, or something that sticks out that you want to discuss?
I'll tell you what, and this comes, I think, personal with your team, Big B, but just with one guy. Zadarius Smith. He signed, a 3-year deal with the Vikings from the Packers.
Yep.
And they play each other here on opening day. And he just mentioned, I think today or yesterday, he said, well, I was treated bad in Green
Yep.
Bay. If you recall, he started out, I believe, with Baltimore. Then he went in 2019 to Green Bay. And then last year, he suffered a back injury. Or I think it was a couple of years ago against New Orleans.
Yep.
Didn't return until the postseason. But he was upset of how his tenure went with Green Bay.
Something
people-
that they didn't talk to him and stuff. Reach out to him. To see how he
That's what it
doing.
was. That's what I read, and people said, "Well, or that the Packer people at the facility, they had walk past him, not say anything, or say, "Hey Z, how's your back doing?"
Yep.
Anything like that, and to play them, not once but twice a year, he's gonna have that Mike Singletary eyes in him. He's gonna be ready to go. He's gonna be like, oh, what's that dude's name in Fast Times? The linebacker, in the movie where they destroy his car, and then he goes out and just destroys the team the night after. Those revenge type of things I'm always into. And then Baker Mayfield, I would say as well here in week 1. You know, and you've heard, of course, what he said, what he wants to do to the Cleveland Browns. And I'm watching that for sure. I think on a Sunday morning, I'm hoping to catch a little bit of that. Of course, with the Rams and Matthew Stafford, you're wondering about his elbow. But I'm really looking forward to that Packers-Vikings game, not only to see if Rodgers can click with these young receivers, whom he's already called out in practice.
Yeah.
You know, right away, that's going to disturb everything.
Just catch the effing ball.
Yeah, and then Justin Fields, I would say, with mess around's Bears, there's reports from executives saying, well, he's nearing breaking through. So this might not be a put up or shut up year, just to see what he's got. And maybe with more time, more progression, maybe he'll be a little better, but they don't have any weapons, to be honest with you. And the two that they had, they're both out. So it's just, I'm worried about him. I'm worried about the offensive line not protecting him, how much he's going to have to be running around. That's going to be interesting for Justin Fields and the Bears. I want to see if the Lions can maybe, like I mentioned on the tailgate, I think on Sunday, hopefully they have a winning season. I think that would do wonders for Dan Campbell and those young Lions that are coming up. Can Hutchinson win the Rookie of the Year being a defensive player there? It just seems like a good fit there in Detroit since he came from Michigan. Something to spark that franchise up. So those are just a few things I'm looking at. There's so much more.
That
first
point
week
that Alcorn brings out, even regardless of how the Bears do this year, next offseason is where it's going to be at because we have $120 million in cap space.
Exactly.
I just
No,
saw
they
that
do.
too.
So, but yeah, week 1's full of a lot of revenge games, personal rivalry games. I mean, it's going to be a good football year.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up something. I forgot what I was going to bring up now.
I mean, you
I
have
think the Lions are going to be good. That's not what I was going to bring up though. But
I know it's a homer thing, but I'm really curious to see how Trey Lance and Fields do. I know they're not playing against each other, but against the defenses, how each one of those quarterbacks does. Especially Trey Lance, because there's reports that the coaches aren't totally 100% behind him. That's why they kept Garoppolo.
But once you stick with whoever you name, whether it be Lance or Garoppolo, you kind of have to stick with them, I feel like.
Well, yeah, for sure. But that's why they kept Garoppolo, because they're not 100% sure about Lance.
Like the old saying goes, if you got two quarterbacks you like or don't like, you don't have a quarterback.
You don't have a quarterback.
Right.
So, J-Mac brings up Mayfield will help the Browns lose their opening week for the 18th straight year. And being in the football season, I mean, you lose week 1, that puts you behind the 8 ball quite a bit.
Yeah, they always bring up this.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, they always bring up a statistic every year. It's like, when you lose this game, your playoff probability drops. But if you win,
that's why week 1 for the Vikings Packers or any division game is so critical, because that losing team's going to technically be 2 back.
Well, ask Nate the Great. He can tell you the probabilities of this stuff.
Yeah. We won't get into the playoff scenarios right now, but
everybody has a chance. We'll just say that.
Yeah. Week 1 is always open, but Chris, outside of your Cowboys, I know we covered again on Morning Tailgate. What are you expecting from what's something that you're gonna have your eyes on?
Yeah, like y'all said, obviously the Browns Panthers game. J-Mac brought up on Fort Bros a couple times that Joe Flacco is going to go up against the Jets.
Yep.
Or, Joe Flacco of the Jets going up against the Ravens, his old team. You got your divisional games. So, I mean, there's a lot of good games, but I'm interested to see what your former Bears quarterback, Dave Trubisky, is going to do in Pittsburgh.
My guy.
Yeah, Dave, mess around. You brought up a stat the other night, I think in our chat or something about what quarterback.
It was after the show. The post show.
So what quarterback hasn't thrown a pick six yet as a
It
starter?
started more than 16 games in his career.
Yeah, and that would be Trubisky. So,
Yep, the only one's not throwing a pick six.
yep. So,
Wow.
Dave, outside the Bears, what are you looking forward to?
Trubisky, I want to see how long he's going to keep that job. I want to
Mhm.
see if it was Matt Nagy that was that fault, or if Trubisky just doesn't have it. We'll see. And then I really want to see that AFC West this year, because that's going to be good from start to finish.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be a battle all year.
And
So I want to see who can take the division lead and run with it and stay with it. You know what I mean? But it's going to be a battle from week 1 to week 17 or 18. Excuse me.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, those are all good. For
I
me,
mean, yeah.
the AFC West for sure is going to be a battle. Trubisky, what they're going to do after Ben Roethlisberger. Seattle without Russell Wilson now. He's over in Detroit or Denver.
and they're squaring off this week too.
Yeah,
Monday night.
and even Jacksonville, I kind of want to see, what's going to happen there. They spent a lot of money this offseason, got new
Mhm.
coaching staff. So Jacksonville's another team I'm kind of keeping my eyes on. So John Elkhorn must have a new show with you and James, I think, ain't it?
We do?
Yeah.
No.
Punt off from here. Yeah. So promoting that, so check them guys out. The AFC North is the Kardashians division of the NFL. Okay. The Bears. The Bears.
Yeah, they do have
apparently
to call
forgot to
Trubisky
call
on draft
Trubisky on draft day.
They did
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, there's something with that, but
Oh no.
so let's move on. You guys got any topics, James? You want to throw out or anything?
Come back to me. I'm looking.
All right, Chris. How about you? You got something we forgot?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it was about a week or two ago, and I don't know if we brought it up, but Serena Williams lost her second round match in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, it was sometime in the past week. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's kind of teetering back and forth of retirement, but not really. She might come back. I don't know. What do you
Well,
guys
Chris,
think?
what have we said about that? When you think retirement, you're already retired. Is that kind
Yeah.
of what we've said?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you guys think of Serena overall? I mean, mess around. I mean, I know we're not tennis guys, but
She'd done it all, whether singles or doubles. She'd won it all. She'd done everything there is to do in tennis. I mean, why not call it a career? I mean, there's not much more she can do or accomplish.
James.
True.
This is always tough. You play for so long. What, since 1997? What is it, or 99?
Yeah, I think she broke out around the same year her sister did, and
Yeah.
Tiger and all them, young great guys did. So
I would like, I know she wants to go out on top, but that's the mentality, no doubt about it. But I haven't seen from her true emotions that it feels like it's her last year, So I don't think it will be her last year, to be honest with you.
okay.
I think she'll be back.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like we've talked about before. Once you talk retirement or start thinking it, you're pretty much retired. I think watching the highlights of her after both of her losses actually in doubles with her sister and then in the singles. Yeah, I think she's going. I think she's going to take time to digest it. I don't think we're going to see her anymore this year, but maybe next year, maybe in a couple charity events, but I don't know. I think she should hang it up. I mean, you want to go out on top. Don't get me wrong. I get that, but sometimes, you got to go out when the time is right.
So her first year was in '95.
95. Okay.
At the age of 14.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that Venus came in. Venus must have came in, and her sister must have came in like 97 then, I think. Yeah. Okay. That might have been it, but John Elkhorn stayed 97. That's the year he was born. So yeah. So, no, she won't. She won't pull John Elkhorn. She won't pull a Brady or Favre.
So So,
No.
and Venus was started in '94, so Venus came first.
Yeah,
Oh, Venus came first. Okay. Okay. Wow. But yeah, she won't pull a Brady or Favre. But I think she's got more respect in the game to say once she's retired, she's retired. Yeah, I mean, she might play some charity events or some pro-ams or something like that. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. Might go into announcing. Doing analysts. I think. So, all right, James, you got anything for us?
yeah. I'm definitely looking at the standings of the MLB, and
Okay.
I've noticed a couple of things. The Mets uh, did catch the Braves yesterday for first place. I believe the Braves lost. The Mets won a doubleheader in Pittsburgh, and now the Braves are just a half game ahead. And it's just amazing to think. Like I think of the years of 2007 and 8 when the Phillies caught the Mets for first place, and then Max Scherzer left his last start. So I'm thinking, man, I don't know if the Mets have it. The Braves are on a roll right now. They've won 7 straight. Uh, that's going to be interesting to see. And then another thing with the St. Louis Cardinals, they've pulled ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers. They're now 9.5 ahead of the Brewers. St. Louis now, 8-2 in their last 10. The Brewers 4-6 in their last 10. They're falling out of contention slowly and surely. But it's just amazing to think the Cardinals, they made a couple of deals at the deadline here. One of them was getting Jose Quintana, and Dave probably remembers him from
Oh, I
the
like
White Sox, Cubs, the Pirates, among others.
Mm-hmm.
And he started well, remember, with the Cubs. And then I think he was traded to the White Sox, and he started to drop since then. But he's 6-1. His last 7 starts there with the Cardinals, and it's just amazing to think. And we always heard about the Cardinal way, guys. That's always a thing we've heard, and it shows you anybody can go there and do well with St. Louis, and they're always a threat on the corners and the infield. You know how you have Goldsmith at first, Arenado at third. 2 great gloves, 2 great bats. I mean, it's amazing what.
They could finish 1-2 in the MVP race. It sounds like.
Oh yeah, every year almost it seems
Yeah.
like those 2 can do that. I'm trying to remember the other man they got as a starter, but to get one guy like that and another guy, and then to add on what they already have, it shows you the Cardinal way is still alive and well. Albert Pujols, what is he, like 4 home runs from 700, 5 away. So that's always interesting to think. He's going to get into another playoff chance here. Remember last year he went to the Dodgers from the Angels, got to the playoffs last year, and now he's going to do it with his old team. And it's just fitting that he's there in St. Louis and they're doing what they're doing. It feels, you guys talked about it last week with Serena Williams and Albert Pujols sharing a different, a similar day, but 20 years ago or whatever,
Yeah.
or 2001, and it happened last week or the week before, and I just like those kind of stories. And the Cardinals, they, everybody talks about the Dodgers, and rightfully so, having the best record. The Mets struggle, but everybody kind of still forgets about the Cardinals. We should really push them forward into being maybe a threat to the Dodgers, not so much the Mets, but maybe the Braves have an opportunity there to really shock everybody without Freeman, or go right at Freeman and see what happens. So that's going to be fun. These September races, there's not many other ones. The wild cards are pretty much set. The Orioles had their streak, they had their little run, but now they're kind of falling.
Yep.
Same with the Brewers and the Giants, they're falling as well. So I think pretty much everything is set. We just got to have people in their rightful places of division or or wild card races. So that's Central with you two up there. That's going to be interesting with
It
Cleveland
is.
in there. You know, I guess the Twins and the White Sox cannot get the wild card, but that division's right there for them. It's going
Well,
to
it's
be
not that they can't get it. I just, they're
7.5.
7 back, I think. Yeah, the Central's only going to have one team. If you don't if you don't win the division, you're out.
Right.
That
But
makes it so much fun and nervous time.
but
So
I
I was
just got
reading up
this.
about Quintana. Did you know he pitched for the Angels?
Who?
Quintana.
I forgot in like 2019, I
Yeah.
believe it was, right?
The 2021 season, it says.
Oh yeah, last year. Duh. I was
Yeah,
thinking of
he's-
someone else.
It says he started out in the minors with the Mets and the Yankees, and he signed with the White Sox in the 12 season. Then made his major league debut in 12.
Oh, White
Maybe
Sox
also
went
team
to.
in 16, and then the Sox traded him to the Cubs.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a message on my phone here from our fellow co-host Sarge. It looks like radio host Doug Gottlieb, Gottlib, is admitting that he made false claims that Freddie Freeman's contract on Freddie Freeman's contract talks with the Braves. So back on June 29th, I believe it was, tweeted out that Casey Close never disclosed Braves' final offer to Freddie Freeman before he signed with the Dodgers.
Yikes.
So with that being said, I mean, what do you guys think should happen to him? James, I'll start with you.
Kind of puts a stain on
His
what
credibility.
happened that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just reading about it right now.
Yeah.
That's what I hate. And Doug Gottlieb, he's someone that's bounced around, ESPN, and now I think he's on Fox Sports Radio.
Mm-hmm.
You just try to get noticed out there. You just try to get clout. You try to get people to listen to your show and whatnot. But I know he's apologized. But something like that, you're playing with fans' emotion. You're playing with people's emotions.
Players'
You
emotion.
saw Freddie Freeman that series in that press conference at the ring ceremony.
Yep.
Just almost heartbroken in a way of
Yep.
what went on supposedly. And
Yep.
now it seems like we have a lot of stories like this where there's something
Mhm.
false, there's something that is not what it was for what they set it out to be. And you think about Freeman there, you think about what he went through that series,
Mhm.
and I know he's had success there in LA, but it just makes everything worse. But hopefully now everyone in this situation can just move on. But it almost seems like Doug Gottlieb, he should kind of lose. I don't know. Should he be on suspension from his show? Should he lose his show? That's what I'm wondering, guys. What do you think
Yeah.
about if there's a punishment for Doug Gottlieb here?
Well, there should be a punishment. But Messerol, why don't you chime in?
I don't know. I think John Alcorn says it best. Do your research first
Yep.
before you know. Before you
Yeah,
get this
stop,
kind of stuff
stop
out
trying
there.
to be the first to report stuff. Get your research done.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd rather be getting my information right than being the first one. If you're going to be the first one, just say, hey, this is breaking news, da-da-da, but we're still getting information.
I wouldn't even go that far. I mean, I would just. I mean, unless I can confirm,
Right.
that something's out there, maybe, but, still you're leaving yourself wide open if you state it that way. Breaking news, so and so is gonna, sign here.
Didn't his
No, but-
agent get fired over this too?
No, he got sued. The agency for Freeman and the agent sued him. So
Good.
But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think definitely, like John said, do your research. I won't go as far as losing his job. I definitely think a strong suspension. All his credibility is gone. If I'm a
Okay.
sports guy, I don't talk to him.
Mm-mm.
That's just me. But
No, no.
you know, so what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't know. They're just as human as the rest of us, but at the same time, like Alcorn said, do your research.
Yep.
Make sure it's right before you put something like that out there. I mean, you have to. You can't just put it out there just to put it out there because you want to be first.
Yep.
Or if you see the report that like we do some background work on it. See if there's
Yep.
similar information on it. Compare notes, basically.
Yeah. No. John Alcorn chimes in. Losing your credibility is like losing your job in the sport. Yeah, that is true. I mean, because you do it too many times, a lot of people ain't gonna talk to you. So, Dave, you got something you want to throw out there at all? I mean,
Whew. Get back to me because I'm just like I'm stunned by
how
what
about
I
you,
read.
Dave? Mess around. You got something you want to throw out?
I got nothing that's like sports related.
Well, throw out what you got there, then.
I just want to talk some more wrestling. I'm not done with wrestling. There's so much going on.
Okay,
This
let's
is
talk
not
about that.
Joe.
3/4 of us, James. I think you kind of watch a little bit of wrestling. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
So you don't? Okay, so keep your mouth shut then. No, I'm just kidding. So, Dave,
This
what
is
you want-
not
what you
Joe.
want
I
to
can
talk
wait,
about,
I
Dave?
can wait until
Are
between
you
the
sure?
hours.
Come on, throw out a topic.
There's nothing out there.
It's Sports Minute. Come on, throw out something.
It's a sport.
Dude,
on.
okay, so like, I really love Dexter Loomis how he came out at the end of that Miz match. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with him. Dexter Loomis has always been one of my guys from NXT, and I love what Triple H is doing, bringing all these guys back.
Yeah, he came out from under the ring.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was awesome.
yeah. No,
The way he
I
just looked up
definitely
at him.
like the direction Triple H is going with some of these guys, giving back their full name, bringing some guys back.
Oh, I also liked how Austin KO's like, you found your first name, I can call you Austin again.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
So,
was
James,
awesome.
if you ain't watching, watch some highlights. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to, but no, I definitely, check us out Sundays between the ropes. We'll talk more about that. Tuesday Night Mania on Tuesdays. Definitely get some wrestle talk in there. So, but yeah, Loomis character. I do not know how that guy can not blink. I don't think I've seen
Right?
him blink yet.
Yeah,
Or talk.
Talking doesn't matter. I mean,
Right.
Kane did that for years.
right.
But yeah, the no blinking just gets me every time I see him. So
Yeah, we not going to talk about how Georgia just throttled the Ducks. That was awesome.
Ooh. Or the
Yeah.
no touchdown game.
yeah, how about that? We didn't talk about that. I mean, I know we touched a little bit on sports or morning tailgate, but I think the final was 7-3 in the Iowa game, and it was a field goal and two safeties that propelled the Iowa Hawkeyes to a win.
That is so
So,
good.
James, what do you think of that?
Nothing like that.
Well, definitely a defensive struggle. First game of the season. Almost anything can happen, I guess, in college football.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out who's who and who's going to do well. But it is a shock when you see the opposite of that North Carolina Appalachian State game just go bonkers. Remember, that
Fourth
ended up
quarter.
being 63-61. North Carolina just held on. But it's
Like,
funny how
then Appalachian State missed like two-point conversions.
Was that the game that scored 62 points in the fourth quarter or something? Yeah.
crazy.
If I was on the losing end of either of those games, one, I'd be bummed. But two, I would look and go, at least we fought in that game.
Both those defensive running laps the next day for.
Well, and that's the thing is, whoever Iowa State played, that offensive line is probably running laps too. Because how do you, give up two? I looked and maybe I missed it, but I couldn't recall an NFL team or a college team to have two safeties in one game. I could be wrong. Maybe I missed something that typed something in right, but yeah, that when I heard that score, I'm just like, what? Really? Two safeties, extra or a field goal and 7? Wow. But anyways, guys, since we ain't got much more to talk about, why don't we just wrap it up? James, we'll start with you. You can promote your new show with Alcorn.
Oh yes, so it's going to be called Punt Off, and
Won't say it too
tomorrow.
fast.
I know that's what's intriguing about it. I'm going to have a lot of fun, not trying to say something else every time. Tomorrow, look for it around noon West time. If you're Central, 2 o'clock time. They're on ISON, the Intergalactic Sports and Entertainment Network. It'll be me and John Alcorn. We're gonna go through all the matchups, go through all the divisions, and who will be winners, the MVP, the award-winning, who we think will win that. Um, and then, of course, I'll be looking forward to Friday personally, going to the Padres Dodger game. Not really for the baseball because the Dodgers always win, but mostly looking, not me, but looking and recording possible fights between the fans. That's always something. And then I could do the same thing on Sunday as I go to the Raiders Chargers game up in
Oh
Inglewood.
yeah.
So my phone better be ready and charged. No, I just hope everything's fun and peaceful. Me, I'm never like that. Even when drunk, I'm always calm, cool, collected. I'm good. So, and then
Are you excited to
Saturdays.
see, hey James, are you excited to see Matt come back and face the Raiders?
No, I wanted him far away from anybody that faced the Raiders. I went Saturday to the USC game, the first game against Rice. There were 3 tip pick sixes by the Trojans. It was amazing to see how that game ended up being 66-14. I left at the end of the third. USC scored one more touchdown. It just shows that week 1 of college football and probably the first 3 weeks,
Yeah.
there's all these different possibilities with all these different games.
Speaking
Now
of,
number 10 USC Stafford now number 10 USC will go to Stafford on Saturday, and it'll be interesting to see if Stafford is going to be good at all. I don't think they're projected to be, but under Lincoln Riley, at least he got the first win there. And then Fresno State, who's always a hard opponent, they'll be in next for the Trojans in LA. So that's my college football really thing there with the Trojans.
speaking of fan fights, did anybody see that fan fight where the 15-year-old dropped a 22-year-old at Clemson game?
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't.
That was awesome. Yeah, the 15-year-old just dropped the 22-year-old.
Wow, I'll have to look for that one. So, mess around. Final thoughts there.
Thanks for having me on Sportsman. I always enjoy talking sports with you guys, so any chance I get to get on here is always fun.
And when can we expect lunchtime followed by nap time with mess around?
That's going to be this coming Monday. Anytime after Bears game, it'll be on.
All right, Chris, what we got going on?
Yeah, tomorrow's OVW, and a lot of great shows. We got Between the Ropes Sunday. We also have that Sunday morning tailgate, covering the remainder of week 1. Last week we covered this Thursday game, tomorrow game between the Rams and the Bills. So watch that before the game, or and then tune into Sunday morning.
Yeah, exactly. Keep checking out Coast to Coast. Tuesday on deck this past week, we had the Savannah Bananas broadcast entertainer Biko on. Talked a little banana history. Gave us his takes on how the MLB's going. That the schedule's coming out in October, where they're going to be. So they plan on making a big world tour this upcoming year. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted on that. Morning tailgate on Sunday, like Chris said, we'll break down week 1 games, give us our one lock. Who knows what other kind of games we'll play on morning tailgate. But with that being said, thank you, Mess Around. Thank you, James. Always, Chris, thank you for the hard work you do. I'm Big B. Check us out next Wednesday for Sportsman. Have a good night.